1,000 better
1,000
stories.
better
1,000 better stories.
1,000 better stories.
Welcome to 1,000 Better Stories, the Scottish Communities Climate Action Network's podcast, sharing stories of community-led climate action in Scotland to help us all imagine a better and fairer future beyond the new normal and transform what we think is possible.
Hi, I'm Kaska.
And I'm Joana, and we
SCCAN
SCCAN Story Weavers.
So today we're mixing it up a little bit, and both of us are on air because we thought it would be nice to have a chat about the story from one of our mini grant recipients, Márcia. And I wanted to chat to Joana about general context for this because it's the field that she's been working in. Maybe you could introduce yourself, Joana, a bit more, and your interest in working with climate anxiety and young people.
So when I'm not being a story weaver for SCCAN, I'm a student researcher at the University of Edinburgh. I'm just finishing my research master's this year and starting my PhD, and both projects are about climate anxiety, climate resilience, and fictional stories. So how fictional stories for children specifically can help mitigating climate anxiety, eco-anxiety, and promoting climate resilience. I was interested in this topic because it combined my work and my passion for writing for children and my own experience of surviving a climate disaster in my home country, Portugal. So that was the wildfires of 2018 in Pedrógão Grande. Unfortunately, this year there's been more and more wildfires. So it's a problem that has been afflicting my home country, Portugal, for a while, but it has definitely been increasing. And the 2017 and 2018 were the worst of all times. I went to Pedrógão Grande after a first episode of fires to volunteer with the communities there to help them rebuild their homes, and when I was there another fire struck, so that definitely opened my eyes and my conscience to the problem. It took me on my own climate journey. I mean, before that I was only just mildly aware and concerned about what was going on, but that took me on my own journey with climate awareness and then anxiety and everything in between.
It must have been really quite a powerful experience.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, still is. That generated not only anxiety in me, but an interest in studying climate anxiety and first understanding if it was a thing. And once knowing that it was a thing, how can we make it better? How can we improve it in a non highly medicalized way, and looking at a more holistic approach to health, and what else can we use that is around us to improve these feelings of anxiety that can escalate to a chronic condition.
So yes, we now obviously seeing effects of climate change, and it's not just a theoretical threat. It's, I guess, not surprising that people are feeling more worried about it. And the climate anxiety, we see it in the headlines so much. Would you be able to tell me a little bit more about what climate anxiety actually is? Is it sort of some kind of psychological disorder, or is it?
It's not considered a disorder. Like other types of anxiety can fluctuate from a feeling of anxiety to a chronic anxiety condition. So people have panic attacks and have higher blood pressure and faster heart rates and difficulty in breathing, so it can evolve to something that is quite chronic and that can affect your life. Climate anxiety is a type of anxiety that is linked to the fear of environmental collapse, of habitat destruction, and everything that surrounds the climate crisis. So people will, of course, individually link their anxiety about climate change to particular things that are probably more specific to the region where they live, to what is happening around them. So people might be more concerned about migration of themselves or others. Some people might be more concerned about climate disaster. Some people might be more concerned about resource scarcity, political instability. Everything goes hand in hand. But once you kind of like start seeing the bigger picture, it's a macro anxiety. So it's not an anxiety that is about your life. Like some people do have anxiety. There are micro anxieties about something specific, like this exam or this test or this thing that I have to do at work is really causing me anxiety. And then there's the macro anxieties about climate change and wars and those things that are really escape your control. Yeah.
I think I've seen it defined as legitimate concern about the state of the world rather than some kind of psychological disorder. But I mean, obviously it affects us psychologically.
So we are still to understand how the impacts of this anxiety and then stress has on the body and on the health, and especially for children and young people on development of their brains. And that's also why this was so interesting for me, because I did study developmental psychology before.
And it's certainly a massive concern, because obviously they're looking into a future that's much a longer term picture for them, and they might not be in position necessarily to do that much about it. So you're doing some research on using stories or literature to work with young people affected by climate anxiety, as you said. Can it help, and how can it help?
Well, this is still very early stages of my research. I'm just working with the theory and the methodologies. So looking at methodologies that worked with anxiety and creating resilience for other areas that are not climate specific, it proves that it works. So I'm hoping that I can show that specifically for climate anxiety will be successful as well, because stories are something that are part of the way that we think, the part of the way that we relate to each other, and our entertainment is something that we do for pleasure, is something that we find comfort in and joy and knowledge and testing emotions and testing thoughts and ideas and anxieties and fears as well through stories. So I'm pretty positive that using stories to explore our climate anxieties, it's quite an effective tool, and it's something that is accessible for everyone. That is very important as well, to have tools that are accessible for everyone and that promote good things like literacy and knowledge and interest in storytelling and education. So it's instead of maybe other more medicalized ways of treating anxiety, this is something that is more long-lasting and that promotes a long life learning for children and young people.
So we've got a fantastic story from Maria called, I'm not going to pronounce it, maybe you should pronounce it, because it's actually a Portuguese word.
Nefelibatas. Nefelibatas.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay, I will never be able to pronounce it. So let's listen to the story, and then we're going to come back and chat a little bit more.
Nefelibatas by Maria Barros. Find a quiet and comfortable space to sit or lay down and close your eyes. This immersive and sensorial audio will tell you the story of the Nefelibatas. Are you comfortable in your cloud? Nefelibatas are creative and intelligent dreamers that have an important mission. From their clouds in the sky, they help bring balance to the planet Earth. You are part of the story and will travel on a magical journey where your imagination is essential to make decisions and embrace this adventure. As a young woman, I find it hard to discuss the climate crisis without it bringing feelings of anxiety and fear. I am aware that the next generation will have bigger challenges than the ones mine is facing now. With this audio, I want to offer children a space where the climate crisis can be seen through new lenses of imagination, empowerment, adventure, creativity and hope, without taking away its urgency. For future developments of this project, please check our page on Instagram @Nefelibatasstory or contact us on our email nefelibatasnasnuvens@gmail.com. The sound edition is by Rui Morgado and the logo by Márcia Fernandes. Thank you for listening to the Nefelibatas story, and I hope it makes you dream. Hello, can you hear me? My name is Maria, and I'm here to tell you the story of the Nefelibatas. Would you like to hear it? Let me take you to where it all started. We are in a river with clear waters and a little waterfall. The sun is very strong, bright and warm, so warm that it is almost impossible to not get in the water. Would you like to get in the water with me? Let's go. The fresh water feels very good in your skin. Can you hear the birds singing? The sunbeams are creating a rainbow in the waterfall. Can you see it? I spot red, yellow and blue. Can you smell the fresh scent of the river? If you look with more attention, you might also spot orange, indigo and violet. Can you smell the jasmine flowers growing by the river? They smell so lovely. I hope that you're feeling nice and relaxed. That's exactly how the first ever Nefelibata felt in this exact same river many years ago. If you look the word Nefelibata in the dictionary, you'll find that a Nefelibata is a cloud walker, someone that lives in the clouds of their own imagination and dreams. But a Nefelibata is much more than that. The first ever Nefelibata was called Waterfall Juanita. She loved to come here and play in the waterfall, collect pretty stones from the river and swim after the fast little fishes. Sometimes she would float on the water with her arms and legs open and close her eyes. That's when the dreams would come. All types of dreams. One day she was floating in the river and something special happened. It was very hot that day. And do you know what happens to the water on very hot days? It can evaporate and turn into a cloud. And that's exactly what happened. The sun kissed the water under her and turned it into a cloud. Waterfall Juanita felt the texture of the water changing, first with her hands, then with her feet, and finally with her whole body. The water had become a cloud. Slowly, that cloud started rising to the sky, taking Waterfall Juanita with it. When she opened her eyes, all Waterfall Juanita could see was blue. She was already in the middle of the sky. It's an exciting feeling to be up in the sky on top of a cloud. She knew it was the beginning of a new adventure. Traveling the skies in her cloud, Waterfall Juanita became the first ever Nefelibata. Years passed by, and today there are many Nefelibatas riding their clouds in the sky. The Nefelibatas are creative and intelligent dreamers, and they have an important mission. From their clouds in the sky, they help bring balance to the planet Earth. But we'll get back to that. For now, let's make you part of the team. Would you like to be a Nefelibata? I will tell you everything you need to know. Firstly, we need to find your Nefelibata's name. A name that suits the clouds. Tell me, what do you dream about? In bed at night or during the day when your thoughts run free, what is it that you see? What do you dream? Have you found it? Whatever it is, it's perfect. It's your special Nefelibatas power. Now, can you find a word that describes it? Try to add that word before your name. For example, we know that Juanita used to go by the waterfall, float in the water and dream. And that is why her Nefelibatas name is Waterfall Juanita. My name is Maria, and my Nefelibatas name is Márcia Maria. Márcia is a Portuguese word that means the smell of the sea, and that says all about me. I love the sound of the waves dancing along the stream and the magical mermaid tales that make me dream. But I can give you some more examples. My friend Linwood cooks scrumptious food, so his Nefelibatas name is Cake Linwood. Cake Linwood loves to bake. His favorite dessert is carrot cake. I'd also like you to meet my friend Joe. If he has an idea, he gives it a go. With colors and paper, the paintings just flow. His Nefelibatas name is Colorful Joe. And what about you? What is your Nefelibatas name? That's a lovely name. Welcome aboard, Nefelibata. Now that we have your Nefelibatas name, let me tell you a bit more about what we do. The Nefelibatas travel up in the skies in their clouds. Some Nefelibatas let the wind guide their cloud along the sky. But you can also decide yourself where to ride your clouds. It's your choice. Each Nefelibata has their own cloud, one that is different from everyone else's. You also have a cloud, your own special cloud. It can be warm or fresh, bouncy, fast, fluffy, slow, small, big. It's up to you and your imagination. My cloud is warm and steamy like a bath. It smells of strawberries, flies slow in the skies, and has the color of my eyes. What about your cloud? Is it warm or cold? Is it bouncy like a trampoline? Soft like a blanket? Or something else? Is it big or small? Does your cloud fly fast in the sky? Or slow? Or both? What's the color of your cloud? How does your cloud smell like? I love this smell. Now that we have your Nefelibatas name and your own special cloud, it's time to talk about something important. The Nefelibatas mission. I'm sure you heard before about pollution and how it is changing the climate of our planet. Pollution is caused only by humans' action, but it affects all Earth. And I don't think that's very fair for all the creatures that live there. Some forests are getting dry, no rain coming from the sky to stop the fire on the trees. What will we do about this? And the animals who used to live there with no home should go where? We all need veggies to be strong, but when it doesn't rain for very long, the farmers can't make them grow. So, what should they do? That's when the skies call for you. If the farm is dry or the forest animals are in pain, the Nefelibatas come in their clouds and make their clouds rain. Your Nefelibatas mission is simple. Take your special cloud somewhere that needs rain. The wind can help you with the direction, for he knows the skies like the palm of his hand. So if you don't know where to go, just ask the wind to blow and he'll take you to a dry land. The way Nefelibatas make their clouds rain depends on each cloud. Some clouds, you just need to whisper them to rain, and they will. Other clouds, you need to jump on top of them to make them rain. But all clouds are different. To make mine rain, I need to bury my feet in the center of the cloud. It's very ticklish. And then it rains. And what about you? How do you make your cloud rain? When the clouds rain, the Nefelibatas feel all the happiness in the world. Up from the sky, we can see the veggies growing and the green of each tree, the animals celebrating and the farmers harvesting the wheat, the colorful waterfalls shining with a rainbow at their feet. The Nefelibatas feel so joyful for doing well their part that sometimes their clouds gain the shape of a heart. So if you're looking at the sky and see a cloud with a heart shape, you know that a Nefelibata has fulfilled their fate. Thank you for joining me in this important mission. You're doing a great job. Keep dreaming and riding your cloud. Welcome to the team, Nefelibata. Hello, Nefelibata! Are you comfortable in your cloud? Sometimes clouds are a good place to listen to a story. Would you like to hear a story? Very well. I'll tell you the story of a Nefelibata that couldn't find his place in the blue skies. His name was Wandering Will. He had this name because his dreams and imagination would often finish in the form of a question. No matter what the subject, Wandering Will would always wonder, why? And he'd pursue the answers all the way up to the sky. He loved to study and he loved to read, and at every new answer another question would appear. But when it was time to fly on his cloud and make it rain, no matter how much he wondered, all his efforts were in vain. He had tried everything already, from books to other Nefelibatas technique, but his cloud was never ready to even rain a little bit. The question marks in his dreams started to slowly become suspension points. Science and books didn't seem as fun as before, and his heart didn't ask questions anymore. Wandering Will was feeling tired and sad, so he let his cloud hover in the air. And that's how his cloud started to rise more and more, higher than any other did before. He got to the highest point in the sky, where the moon is so big and the moonlight is so bright that it feels like it's day even when it is night. A little creature from the high sky found him there. She had the size of a hand and was leaning on her wee cloud. She said,
If your cloud came all the way up here, it's because you may have stopped dreaming.
She fluttered with her wee cloud and landed on his hand. Wandering Will had never seen such a sweet tiny creature. She smelled like lilac flowers and her cloud was warm in his hand.
Tell me your story,
asked the little creature, and Wandering Will told her how he loved to learn new things and was always wondering why, but he couldn't make his cloud rain for as much as he tried. After hearing his story, she offered Wandering Will a lilac soft petal. She told him,
"Fly in the moon's direction until the morning rises the sun. Then you'll see down in the land lilac flowers that smell and look like this petal. Follow them from the sky. They will start to be more and more until they completely cover the floor. Soon, petals will be flying everywhere, down in the land and up in the air. That means that you're very close. There's a wooden house in the middle of the flowers. Once you find it, get down from your cloud and knock at the door. You'll find all the answers that you're looking for."
Wandering Will thanked the tiny creature and flew in the direction of the moon until the morning. The first lilac appeared with the first sunbeam, and its strong scent quickly perfused the skies. In the middle of the sea of flowers there was, as promised, the wooden house. Wandering Will tied his red shoelaces around his cloud and carried it like a balloon as he got down. He walked to the house and knocked 1, 2, 3 times, and then waited. Opened the door a granny with a tender smile and a hat he found funny. Just from seeing him standing there in the entrance rug, the granny understood his troubles and gave him a big hug. They got inside the house and the granny offered him tea. They talked and she laughed loudly. Hee 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 hee. Wandering Will was surprised with the granny's advice. "You need to go to the other side of the world. Here there are flowers, sun, and a warm breeze. You need to go where the air would freeze. As much as I am sweet and old, you, my son, belong to the cold. It is a long way to get far from the heat, but in the end it will all be worth it." Just this time, Wandering Will didn't ask why, and the two of them took their time saying goodbye. It was in this very moment that Wandering Will acknowledged that trust can be as important as knowledge. Wandering Will traveled many miles in the sky, feeling the air get colder as the months passed by. Following Granny's advice, he saw rivers and seas become ice, and the beautiful mountains get covered in snow. And if it was ever too cold, he'd cuddle his cloud and warm with its glow. Wandering Will found peace in the infinite wide, and exciting new dreams would come every night. In this side of the world there was so much to learn, so many wonderful things to understand. Until one day, Wandering Will heard something really scary. He leaned on his cloud to see what was happening down there. A family of polar bears was crying in despair. The ice had melted in between them, and the strong steam made it very hard to cross. They were separated from each other. The mama bear and the daddy bear on one side, and the two baby bears on the other. Wandering Will knew he had to help this family fast, for that remaining ice wouldn't last, and the space in between them would continue to grow So he took a deep breath and told his cloud to snow. His cloud did so, and as if it was magic, little white flakes started to show. Wandering Will had never felt so excited. He asked his cloud to snow in full strength and speed, and so his cloud did, and it only stopped when the water between the bears was frozen again. The family got back together, running as fast as they could go, and between hugs they thanked Wandering Will for the snow. Wandering Will couldn't believe it. After all, nothing was wrong. Of course his cloud didn't rain. It was supposed to snow all along. He felt thankful for his journey and for all the things he learned in the way. Wandering Will still lives happy today in the coldest skies that need snow, always making new friends with a curiosity that never ends. And if some night a longing feeling hits, there's always warmth in the perfume of the lilac petal he keeps. And that's how our story ends. Thank you for listening, dear Nefelibata. I hope you live many adventures in your cloud, traveling the bluest skies. In your Nefelibata's journey, I believe you will find other challenges than bringing rain and snow to our planet. But remember, there is no challenge that a Nefelibata cannot overcome with imagination and dedication. And if you struggle to find a solution, you can always close your eyes and get back to your cloud, where every challenge is an adventure and things can be seen from a different perspective. Good dreams, Nefelibata.
Hi, I'm still here, still Joana.
Hi, I'm still here, I'm still Kaska.
Part Nefilibata now, but still myself.
Oh yes, yes, we have been on a journey, haven't we? Yeah. That was pretty special. So I just wanted to, I'm quite curious, what is your Nefelibatas name and colour and shape, and how does your cloud work?
Okay, so my Nefelibata name is Journeying Joana. My cloud is made of pillows, comfortable pillows. They are kind of like cool pillows. Like when you put your head in a pillow that is kind of cool because it's new and it has been washed and it smells clean. So that was how my cloud came to me. It's just made of clean pillows and just smelling generally like clean. How do I make it rain? So I jump on it. I jump on my fort of pillows, and I make it rain.
Very, very energetic.
Yeah, and it's blue.
It's blue.
Yeah.
Blue pillows. Wonderful. Yeah. I think I was just thinking about what my Nefelibatas cloud and name might be. My name is Buzzing Kaska, and my cloud is the meadow. So lots and lots of different flowers, and I make it rain by buzzing like a bee.
Okay.
That should be fun, shouldn't it?
That would be fun, yeah.
I think so. Did you enjoy listening to the story, and what did you enjoy most about it?
I absolutely loved it. I love the participation, elements of it, and how it makes you, find your own name and your cloud. That's, for kids is amazing, and for adults as well. And it's something that I really like about stories is inserting yourself in it. So I really enjoyed that element. And I mean, everything about it was just a lovely story. I listened to it a couple of times, and I thought different things every time I did hear it. It definitely give you feelings of empowerment, in a magical way. I mean, I think we all, when we are in a place of despair, of powerlessness, we all I wish I had magical powers. I wish that I could just look at something and that would move, or that would explode, or I would make it rain. I could solve this problem with something magic, and it really appeals to that very primal desire that we have to be problem solvers as humans, and to the fantastic element of it, how creative and innovative we are, that if we see a problem and you want to make it rain, you're going to find a way. Not through magic, but some other way.
Yeah.
But the imagination is the start of it. So
I really liked the format, and I just really enjoyed the beginning of the story. It made me so relaxed. So obviously I was much more so receptive to go on a journey. It was just quite a surprise that, because I was just listening to it so that I can see whether it needs any editing. But yeah, it sucked me in. It's great.
Yeah.
And I liked the ending as well, emphasizing everybody's got their own little space that you don't necessarily know what you can contribute, but you've got your own unique space that you can make a difference in, and if everybody uses their own spaces,
it has a lovely message.
I love that, because it's sort of creating a sense of agency and sense of, yes, I can actually do something. So obviously it's really lovely to listen to as an individual, and I can imagine people just listening to it or using it at home, maybe with their own kids. But as a community group, how would you see people maybe using that to make a difference in their communities?
I think you can definitely use this with groups of children and even adults. The same way that you have like a book club, that everyone in this case listens to the same story and then they have a little discussion about it. The approach that I use, technique that's borrowed from narrative therapy, that is a triangle between story, experience, and reflection. And what happens in this space is that you look at a story, you compare it or associate it, like put it next to your personal experience, and then you have a reflection about it. And I think it's a very powerful space to work with.
For younger kids, I think maybe even drawing the story or their journey and discussing stuff like that together, because they're perhaps not as good at a discussion component, but they've got imagination.
Yeah. By creating their own character and what their character is going to do, what their cloud is going to do, where is it needed. They might have seen some story on TV that worried them, or something that they might have seen in their community and their region happen that worry them. It might be pollution in a river, or it might be drought or something. They will automatically think, I would go to that forest, to that place, and I would do this. I would help that animal. And that is quite
so that could be a nice way to lead into them then maybe deciding to do something in their own little space, and that they can actually achieve and feel like they made a difference. I think.
Exactly. And team up, so and be nice. Like a team of Nefelibatas, all their clouds together, going somewhere. But also this everyone of like everyone has their own contribution to make. I think it's really, really, really good for kids. For everyone, really, but for kids.
So would you have any other advice on using stories like this, especially with younger children?
Well, first of all, use them, read them to your kids, have them reading them, and ask them about it, discuss them with them, because that's something that sometimes we don't do enough. Like children, they love talking about themselves, they love talking about what they like, and talking about stories make the stories even more relevant, more permanent. Like the messages that you take from stories, the ideas that you get from stories become more permanent if you talk to them a little bit more.
Good advice. So this is just one story. Do you have any, one or two good resources, anything off the top of your head just now that's good?
I highly recommend 3 stories, 3 books that I've read recently for my research. I absolutely loved. So these are for older children. So this is middle grade fiction, like 8 to 12. You can read it to younger children. Maybe read it yourself, because younger children like 6 or 7 might be at this reading level, but they might not. So if they're not, you can read it with them. One of them is called By Ash, Oak and Thorn by Melissa Harrison. Orphans of the Tide is a trilogy by Stuart Murray. I actually have it here as well. And another one is City of Rust by Emma Fowler. They're great fun and good to talk about, like the hidden meanings in it.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Maria, for the beautiful Nefelibatas story. It really took me on a journey. I'm looking forward to listening to it again and to share it with other people. Share it with my little friends, my nephews and my nieces.
Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Joana, for allowing me to come and invade your lovely home. This is very exciting, because we're starting to be able to do face-to-face interviews, and it's sort of nice to chat together and have two story weavers together as well. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just also testing.
Hey guys! We're going to record the birds for a bit.
What's that?
So this white one that is in house arrest for the moment is called Coco, because she's a troublemaker. They're budgies, they're parakeets.
Yeah.
And these two baby ones are called Comet and Calypso. So they're new to the flock, and they had just been introduced about a month ago. So they're getting to know each other. Do you like hearing my voice, babies? Little rascals.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a like and maybe even a review. It will really help us reach a wider audience. If something exciting is happening in your own community, be sure to let us know so that we can help you tell your own story. Or maybe you would like to join our brand new Storyteller Collective. You can drop our Story Weavers a line at stories@scottishcommunitiescan.org.uk. To keep up to date, check out our website at scottishcommunities.org.uk or find us on Twitter, Facebook or Instagram, or simply sign up to the newsletter.